Доброго ранку, шановні аграрії, шановні громади.
Good morning, dear agrarians, dear territorial communities, my dear colleagues. Today we are meeting to present our interactive map of damages and losses in the agricultural sector of Ukraine. My name is Sergei Kubach. I'm Land Reform Team Lead at the USAID Agriculture Growing Rural Opportunities activity in Ukraine, and we are going to discuss the damages and losses in agricultural sector. As we know, the agricultural sector is one of the driving forces of the economy of Ukraine. The agricultural sector is 16% in the whole economy of Ukraine. The agricultural production brought about $22 billion. Unfortunately, the war has damaged our economy, and to different estimations, the losses on the agricultural sector amount to $62 billion, and the general losses were over $30 billion. But we are sure that the crimes will be punished. We are sure that everything that is destroyed at the moment will be restored, and it includes the land fund. Unfortunately, it was heavily damaged, and the damages amount to 5%, that is over 2 billion hectares of land. And we're going to discuss today how to do it, and we are going to present you the new tool, which is called the interactive map of damages of agricultural sector of Ukraine. I'm giving floor Mykola Solsky, the Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine. Good morning, dear colleagues. I'm pleased to once again welcome you on one of our regular events. They are important and innovative, as we never had them before. It is clear that we have a lot of new challenges, new issues we have to address. And one of them is the issue we are meeting today, why we are meeting today. Today, agrarians appeared in very challenging environment that none of us has experienced before. We deal with war, we deal with cheap grain, we deal additionally with severe weather conditions. It is also difficult for us to decide what shall we do next year, and many other negative factors that complicate our daily routine. But despite of all this, the agrarian sector and all of us on a daily basis do our agrarian stuff and prevent this sector from collapsing. We support our agricultural enterprises. We provide work to other people and other sectors like trade, processing, and so on. As I said before, the number of challenges has significantly increased. And here I'm talking about direct and indirect damages caused by war and Russian aggression. So it is good and important that USAID Agro and other partners continue implementing practical projects, supporting and together with Ukrainian Agri Council implement and present the interactive map of damages. This is one of those steps that enable to document damages and make requirements to compensating them in future. I'm grateful to USAID, UAC, the ministry, and all involved in this process. And I wish all of you to study this tool as soon as possible and enjoy the benefits of using it. Thank you. Thank you. As we know, the program on restoration of Ukraine after the consequences of war is developed. Danila Getmantsev is heading this project, He's the head of Kherson Regional Military Administration, and I'm giving floor to Mr. Daniel Hetmansev. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me, and that's an honor for me to make a speech in front of you. It's a very important question related to counting and calculating the damages and losses, because the agricultural sector is just a part of all damages, which are documented and reported at the moment, and they've reached $200 million at the moment. Those are direct losses. I'm not even talking about the indirect one, like the loss of economic activity and other negative impacts to our state. The direct impacts are quite huge. Why do we need this work at the moment? And it has a modal nature, first of all. We need to understand what compensations have to be charged from the aggressor. We need to develop a clear legal mechanism in order to prove and to have evidence as to the damages in order to prove them on the higher level in international courts. That's why we need to document them. It's very important. It's an important activity which allows to collect the evidence for that. And also, it will be important to charge the compensation from the aggressor. And the third important thing is the restoration activity. That is what we are doing in Verkhovna Rada. It is a program that was announced in April this year, and we are dealing with this right now. And it involves the restoring of the damages caused by the aggressor. We are working with the principles of smooth restoring of Ukraine, and it should happen not by the way of returning what we had before and what was damaged, but we are focused on restoring and building something new. Build back then, that's the principle, which is the main principle of restoring of Ukraine. And we have to leave everything we had from the old times, from the Soviet Union in the past, when we were repairing a part of it and part was sophisticated and modernized. Now we have to make it better. We are obliged to develop new means to make new capital investments, just the up-to-date developments. A very problematic issue in the agrarian sector is the land issue. The damage of the land areas is a huge problem and a very complicated one. It includes the demining issue, of course. And here, and we have to understand also that it's rather complicated to establish the exact amount of damages and losses in this field. I understand that your work should be updated all the time, because unfortunately, we are not aware of the amount of land that was damaged at the moment. We don't know yet the losses caused to the land on the occupied territories. We also don't know where the contact line will be in 2 months and what kind of damages we can get after the missile attacks in some time. That is why we clearly understand what you are representing today. This is a result, but it's an intermediary result. And also I would like to mention the sources, the financial resources. We understand that our budget is not unlimited, and we still have not received the proposals, except for the 35 million for the restoration program. But these are minor amounts. We need more. We need about 750 billion years for dollars for 10 years. And we need to eliminate these damages not only agrarian sector, but one of the 24 spheres that we need to restore, agrarian sector is one of them where we have to take a lot of efforts in order to sophisticate and develop the agrarian sector, including the processing field, introducing complicated technologies, and to make it the driving force of the economy of Ukraine in general. We have a lot of projects devoted to this, and we are focusing on rebuilding what is better. That's why I'm very grateful that you are paying attention to such important sides of our fight, of our struggle. And I would like to assure you that you will have all support from our committee on all the questions. We will be happy to support you and help you. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. Daniil Getmantsev. Yes, we participated and we will be participated in implementation of some programs on restoration of Ukraine. So you can also count on our work, and the tool that we are presenting today maybe will become a part of the program because it will be visible to all our partners, all our donors, investors, as they will be able to see how much have to be allocated in order to restore Ukraine. Today, we are located in Kherson Regional Military Administration. Next to me, we have the head of Kherson Regional Military Administration, Yaroslav Yanushevich, and we all know what significant role the Kherson administration plays for food security. All the world knows that. That's why I give a floor to him.
Thank you, colleagues, for being here today. It's an extremely important for Kherson Oblast in particular and Ukraine in general. I'm very grateful to colleagues for the initiatives they support. And I'm happy to work together with my colleagues on some of the initiatives. One of the key principles we would like to stick is holding those guilty of crimes accountable for what they have done. And we hope that together we will be able to defend justice and get compensations for damages caused to agricultural sector by Russia's aggression. For this, we have to work hard, and I'm sure that by joining our efforts, we can strongly achieve good results. In terms of statistics, I would like to...
Проблеми з логістикою в Херсонській області до окупації з боку Росії не було. Діяв міжнародний аеропорт, була розвинена система залізничних і автомобільних, а також річковий пасажирський і річковий вантажні порти. Взагалі територію Херсонської області перетинають два міжнародно-транспортні коридори. Це перший Чорноморської економічної співдружності, який пов'язує з країнами Близького Сходу і Балканського півострову. А другий – це Євроазіатський транспортний потік з країн Європи через Чорноморські порти до країн Закавказзя і Сходу. Отже, навіть географічне розташування...
The second is the Eurasian transport corridor going from Europe through the Black Sea ports to the countries of Transcaucasia in the east. So the priorities spheres for the development were the agro-industrial complex and the establishment of logistical connections. Let's focus on agricultural characteristics. The area of arable land
на Херсонщині найбільше із зрошувальних сільськогосподарських угідь. Це допомагає вирощувати добрі врожаї в умовах посушливої зони півдня України. Йдеться про 420...
Kherson Oblast is the largest irrigated land area, namely 427,000 hectares of irrigated lands, which makes up 21.6% of the oblast's total arable land. Kherson Oblast accounts for 3.5% of Ukraine's total grain production, with over 1.5 million tons of grain and 500,000 tons of fodder crops produced annually. Besides, Kherson Oblast is the national leader in rice production, as well as the second biggest producer of soybeans and the fourth biggest producer of rapeseed.
Чистих овочів і експортувати екопродукцію у відповідні торгівельні мережі як в Україні, так і за кордоном. Ну, тим більше, що протягом 10 років наша область була беззаперечним лідером по збору плодово-овочевих і баштанових культур. І щорічний врожай складав близько дуже важливо
1.5 million tons produced annually. Animal husbandry is another important branch of agriculture in Kherson Oblast. It accounts for 25% of the oblast's agricultural GDP. Before Russia's aggression against Ukraine, the total number of cattle was 57.3 thousand. Prior to Russia's aggression, 2,900 agricultural companies were operating in Kherson Oblast. Among them, farm enterprises, agribusinesses, and agricultural service cooperatives. Despite challenges and failures each year, Kherson Oblast managed to demonstrate strong progress, rebuilding the irrigation system, adopting new technology, introducing European quality and safety standards. Russia's full
покращувати стан інших галузей економіки. На жаль, наша область з перших днів повномасштабного вторгнення опинилась в окупації.
Unfortunately, Kherson Oblast was occupied in the first days of the war, and agricultural companies suffered devastating losses, were damaged, destroyed, or became targets for expropriation by occupants. 6 livestock breeding farms and reproduction facilities were lost. Nearly 70 premises where livestock and poultry were kept were destroyed, and around 60% of agricultural companies were partially damaged or destroyed. One of the biggest problems faced by agricultural producers is direct physical damage to fertile soil layer and pollution of land with unexploded ordnance. Among 70% of the of oblast agricultural land require demining and recultivation. We need to comprehensively address agricultural producers' problems after liberation of the areas where they operate. Today, we see that more and more territories are liberated, and after we do this, we need to take demining measures, provide agricultural producers with fertilizers, seeds, crop protection products, oil or lubricants, provide financial assistance to producers for them to be able to rebuild and reconstruct their production facilities.
Злочинів російських окупантів, розуміння масштабів цієї шкоди. Для цього ми повинні
Another important amount of of damages caused to enterprises as a result of Russia's war against Ukraine. And for this, we closely cooperate with law enforcement agencies to help them collect admissible sufficient evidence for use in international courts. And I'm sure we'll manage to handle it together to be able to get compensation later. Thank you, colleagues. That's extremely important that we need to take the problems comprehensively. Since land reclamation should be done together with melioration infrastructure restoration. We right now have the draft law being considered by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, and we have a number of market tools we can use in providing assistance in this area. And you are quite right that we need to primarily focus on newly liberated territories. Thank you very much for your work aiming to rebuild and restore the affected areas.
Now we're just moving for considering the interactive map, and I'm giving floor to the developers of this interactive tool. It's Dmitro Kohan, the advisor to the chair of the Ukrainian Agri Council, and Roman Krab, the one who developed the interactive map. He's the chair of the project itself. Thank you, Sergei. Good morning. It's very symbolic that we are meeting today in Kherson Regional Military Administration. I'm very pleased to be invited. Kherson region has always been one of the powerful agrarian regions in Ukraine and in the world, because Ukraine plays a significant part on the world agricultural market. And that's why with the steps we are moving, we are expecting to have our territories deoccupied, not only in Kherson, but all over Ukraine. And then we start restoring our activities, our agricultural enterprises. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the meeting, we will not only restore what we had, but we will make it better. The Ukrainian Agrarian Council, under the support of USAID, started a new project as for the methodological support of enterprises suffered from the aggression of Russian Federation. Of course, it's a new history, and it's very good that before we never had it, but unfortunately we have war coming to our house, to our homes at the moment. The tool that will help to document and report the crimes is innovative. We never had it before, because the world did not know the level of such damage and losses, so no one knows how to behave in such environment. And our team, together with USAID, with leading legal companies, we have developed the recommendations. That's the list of rules, of actions that enterprises have in order to record the crimes related to their enterprises, so that in future they will have an opportunity, and it's important in my view, to claim the compensations and to charge Russian Federation for that. It can take place in Ukrainian courts, in international courts, if the fund of restoration will be established. Anyways, each agrarian has to collect the full package of documents, and this package will allow him or her in future to be compensated for the damage. Together with this, we have the hotline, which is free of charge. It can be used by all the representatives of enterprises. We have experts working in this field. They are ready to provide any necessary information and to answer all of your questions in the process of documenting the damages. One of the stages of our work was the development of interactive map in the agricultural sector. This is a tool which collects all information as for the enterprises damaged in Ukraine, and we are updating it on a daily basis. This tool was developed to show the world that what is really happening in Ukraine. When we just say millions of dollars of damages and losses, yes, the amount is significant, but it's really difficult to understand what is going on in Ukraine. That's why we decided to develop this web portal, and I encourage all enterprises to participate in the process to record the information as for the damages, so that international organizations and governmental representatives see this information and make the right decisions as to this compensation. It's also important that everyone has access to this information, including the private funds, international funds, charity funds, and they can get this information from the web portal and start cooperating with agricultural enterprises. For our government, it's also an important tool. They can use it to represent the interests of our state in international courts. That's why, summing up, dear colleagues, I'm giving floor now to Roman Grab. This is namely the person who was developing this web portal, and he is responsible for the technical part. He will try to make it clear how this web portal works, and all agrarians and all experts, I encourage you to join the process, work together, and I wish all of us to move from the theoretical part, like collection of evidence, but we move further to the practical part and make Russian Federation responsible for the crimes committed in Ukraine. Roman, floor is yours, please. Good afternoon. My name is Roman. I'm the technical director of the team who was developing the interactive map of damages in agricultural sector. In this part of presentation, we are going to talk about the technical component. The previous presentation convinced us that such work on documenting the damages and losses and developing the packages for compensating for the damages and losses showed that such web portals and databases can really show all the losses caused by Russian Federation can be usefully used in future. Now we are on the main page of the web portal, and here we have the basic information about the project, objective, tasks, and so on. Also here, you can see the instructions how to work with this web portal, how to work effectively, and all the objects that can be reflected on this map. This includes equipment and transport, buildings and constructions, perennial plantations, irrigation objects, land plots, and many other. Also here you can see an application form that we use in order to document the crimes and damages caused by Russian Federation. However, we're going to discuss this application form later. Another important thing on this this main page are the contact details and the hotline that can be used by everyone to find and to get important information and answers on your questions. You can also submit your proposals here. On the right corner, you see a feedback button. It allows you to leave a message, the contact details of this person, like phone number, email, and the message itself. Over 24 hours, the respective manager will contact you and will be able to answer your question. To move straight to the web portal, we press the big yellow button. And now we see the interactive map itself. It includes the main components, it's like map, help, also a button which allows to add the damages. On the left, you can see the search line and the register of all objects reflected on the map. And you have an opportunity to select different layers and filters to be reflected on the map. The search line can be used in the following way. You can put an identification code, the name of the owner, and you will find the object you are interested in. Here you have a save button. It allows to unload information in Excel format. And those persons who are doing analytics, gather information like governmental bodies, our international partners, will be able to download information in a convenient format and process it for calculation and analytics. This web page has 2 languages, and it can be used both by Ukrainian citizens, citizens of other countries, our international partners, and they can see the damage and losses caused by Russian Federation in the agricultural sector. Below, you can see the register of the objects that were under the attack. We can see the images. Sometimes we also have video materials attached. You can see the name of the owner, the identification code, the type of the object, the level of damage, and the location of the object. If you want to get additional detailed information, namely location, we press the button Show on the map, and we are being transferred straight to this place. Now we see the location of this object. If you don't like the view and you want to see the satellite view, for instance, we just switch the layer, and here we can see the satellite map. Also, to make it more convenient and informative, we have added additional layer, which is related to areas under occupation. It shows the objects located on the temporary occupied areas or in the areas with hostilities. For those people who are not only adding their own damaged objects and save this information on the map, this includes also the opportunities for those people who just want to focus on some separate objects and to look through the map. We can check the type, the region of the object. You can also select the region, the territorial community here, and photos and videos available. We use the filter, and here we now see the land plots reflected on the map. After that, we can zoom and select any object located on the map. Now we can see all objects we are interested in. Later, we can delete all the criteria in the filter and we go back to the map. Another important step here, apart from looking for information and saving it, it's an option to add the damages. For that, we press the button, add the damage, and here we see the application form. Here we put the name of the owner, if it is an individual, and we put here the important information. I'm showing the testing mode at the moment. That's why we will make it very simple. The name will be test1. Here in this line, we put the identification code. If it is an individual person, there is no need to put this identification code, the type of object. Here we have a lot of categories and subcategories. We can choose any of them. If we select the category livestock, then here it can be cowshed, pigsty, poultry coop. If we select land plot, then the cadastral number, the name of the owner, the type of the land plot and purpose. If we select animals, for instance, again, we can select the type of animal, the number of heads, and this information will be saved on the map. Let us take the administrative building as the simplest category here. Again, the level and the type of administrative building can be included. Also here, the location is important. We check it on the map, we pick up the point and start zooming to the place where the object is located. For example, I don't know, it can be anywhere. Let's put it next to the damaged object. Let's put it here. We save this location, and now the application form automatically adds additional information like territorial community. Also, we can select the city or village where the object is located. We can indicate the street and the building. After that, we include the contact details so that anyone could contact us if necessary, our full name and email. Also, it is important when we are editing the object to add images, video materials. They can be really useful. After uploading the video material, we press Save the changes. And these changes will be saved on the map. Another important thing to mention, we have analytics block here. When going there, we can see how many objects we have on the map, how many damaged enterprises are included on the map, and also how many video materials we have on the map. This map also reflects the number of enterprises located in different regions. The next map reflects the distribution of damaged enterprises according to the regions. For example, in Kherson region, we have 135 land plots, 25 administrative buildings in Kharkiv region, and other objects. We can also see enterprises according to the level of their damage and their comparison with each other. Also, there is a page help And it transfers us to the corresponding website where we can find necessary information, links, and contact details if we need to contact the administrations, regional administrations, and so on. So this is it from me. I will be happy to answer your questions, if any. Thank you, Roman. It was a very detailed presentation. Dear colleagues, if you have any questions, you are always welcome to go to the contact center. It is indicated on our web portal, and you will receive all necessary help. And summing up, I would like to say, the web portal is related to restoration. This is the main statement that we use, the agri recovery. That's why we are more focusing on restoration and recovery. And we will use this information in our future work. It will be used in courts. It will be used by charity funds. And this will be used for different investment projects, for financing of projects, and compensating of the damages in the agrarian sector. So thank you, my dear colleagues, for your work. Thank you, Dnipro. Thank you, Roman. I kindly ask the participants of our events and those who are viewing us on the YouTube channels, please leave your comments and questions. They all will be transferred to us, and we will have a section for questions and answers, and we will be ready to answer them. It's very important that this interactive map can be used both ways. The first one is to document the damages and crimes representing the interests of the agrarians, and the second purpose is the informational one. It will be used for recovery. The next session will be when we'll involve our partners for the conversation. They will also make a speech on behalf of many international organizations, but before that, I suggest you to see a video about the damages in the agricultural sector in Kherson region, because currently we are here.
Oblast was occupied in the first days of war, and Oblast agricultural complex was heavily damaged. Over 60% of the Oblast agro businesses were fully destroyed or partially damaged. Among them, machinery and equipment, crops, and others, including livestock, destruction of breeding farms and reproduction facilities, places where livestock and poultry were kept. Damage to agricultural lands and looting of harvests. So farmers find it difficult to continue activities under the occupation, yet they take all and every effort to survive. More than 700,000 tons of crops have been harvested this year. To ensure food safety for the populations. So, colleagues, let's continue our meeting. So, colleagues, let me ask you that if there are aerial threats in the locations where you are, so please take shelter, because our video will be recorded and distributed through various channels, so you'll be able to watch it later when it's convenient for you. Besides, you'll see the link to our meeting on the USAID and Agro Facebook and YouTube channels, as well as military administrations and ministries' websites. So I'm sure you'll have a chance to watch our meeting. So let me give the floor to Cynthia Tai, their Executive Director and founder of Project Expedite Justice, our partners who help us to defend justice.
I'm the Executive Director of Project Expedite Justice.
Good morning. My name is Pascal Cholon. I'm the Program Director for the Ukraine Program for Project Expedite Justice. As partner to the Ukrainian Agri Council, we are proud and honored to have been invited to take part in the launch event of the Ukrainian Agri Council webpage. This is an important moment, and we hereby want to confirm our full support to the initiative and our commitment to working together with affected communities to help reach solutions to address your losses. This platform that is presented today is aimed at facilitating evidence collection and the fixing of damages caused by the ongoing military aggression, to be able to expose the losses suffered and to claim compensation, reparations, and other forms of legal remedies in the future. We have had the chance to discuss at length with the Ukrainian Agri Council and USAID Agro, and to provide our expertise and input into the process, including through meeting with the Council during the testing phase of the webpage. We believe this tool will greatly enhance and help to ensure a proper recording of losses and damages and build a path to accountability for the crimes suffered. We want to encourage all members to participate in the information collection effort and to testify about their losses through the platform so that the information can be collected, preserved, recorded, and used as needed in the future.
Project Expedite Justice is an international nonprofit dedicated to providing legal services in the areas of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. Our Ukraine team includes both international and national lawyers with decades of experience in these areas, including war crimes. Our Ukraine team seeks to support the documentation of the crime of pillage, the theft of grain from the Russian aggressor. It is in this spirit that Project Expedite Justice and its partners, including the Ukrainian government, seek to provide you with compensation, sanctions, and other forms of accountability. We hope that you embrace this opportunity to document the crimes that you have suffered so that we can seek compensation on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you.
Дякуємо. Трохи є затримка там, бо у нас перекладачі працюють дистанційно.
Thank you, colleagues, for your time and participation. Let me give the floor to Alisa Goloshapova, coordinator of Project Expedite Justice in Ukraine. Alisa, the floor is yours. Hello, colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity to speak at today's event. Project Expedite Justice is supported by our Buffett Fund, and we are happy, together with Ukrainian Agri Council, state authorities, and Ukrainian Grain Association, work together to defend justice, to take accountability of perpetrators for crimes they have committed, to and get proper compensations for damages made to Ukraine's agriculture. We know that Russia actively expropriates Ukrainian food on occupied territories. And in this context, I hope that the map presented will help properly collect evidence and document the damages. I encourage all agricultural producers against whom crimes were committed to document, to collect evidence and document losses using the map. And if they need any assistance for this, you may use hotline, web platforms, and other resources to be able to collect sufficient evidence to enable us later seek compensation on your behalf. So I believe MAP is a powerful tool to support our agricultural sector, and it will help our diplomats, higher officials defend our interests at higher levels using this map as visualization, powerful visualization tool. So I really encourage your colleagues to participate, contact Ukrainian Agri Council's representatives if you need any assistance in this regard, and we on our side will actively support the initiatives to defend justice. Thank you, Alisa, for your participation. We have been actively working together on the issue. We've had good developments. We've managed to collect part of evidence. So I would like to emphasize that documenting is a day-to-day work, hard work. We've recently met Project Expedite Justice team to discuss the issues, and we are really sure that all those guilty in the crimes will be punished for what they did. So, and let me also say that I'm proud with our local communities. And let me give the floor to Ivan Slobodyan, Executive Director of the Ukrainian Community Association and Chair of the Ukrainian Congress of Farmers. Hello, colleagues. Thank you, Sergey, for the ability to join the meeting. I'm happy to hear that we have a comprehensive approach to recording war crimes. It's a prerequisite for future success. It shows all those involved and affected. Our communities, communities who participate, who are members of the association, are actively thinking of how to rebuild and restore their enterprises and communities. And I'm happy that we are part of the Consolidated Communities project supported by USAID Agro. And over this time, we've managed to help many local communities restore their capacities, help enterprises relocate to safer areas. We've been actively working with Cynthia and Alicia on this issue. So a comprehensive approach to business revival is extremely important, colleagues. And the map you presented will really help us properly document the damages to seek for the compensations. I've recently returned from Kherson Oblast, and I was really shocked to see all those losses suffered by local communities and businesses. So on our side, we are ready to render all necessary support and assistance to those affected, including we're ready to provide information on the details of documenting these are those types of damages or destruction. And I'm sure that the platform is an effective tool which will enable local communities and businesses properly collect evidence to further get compensations for destructions. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your participation. We know that many communities and businesses have been affected. So let me give the floor to Larisa Bachkova, Deputy Chair of the Public Union Agro Producers of the Occupied Territories. Colleagues, thank you for the opportunity to present and tell more about the newly created association.
This organization was formed on the 22nd of August 2022. We are working on building of the team. We are working on our policy, logo, and so on. Those participants who have joined us are being very active at the moment. We are participating in the project which is actively presented today, and all speakers have announced the challenges and the problems the agrarian sector is experiencing at the moment. The enterprises which are located on the contact line or deoccupied areas. I'm not saying something new here, but we have an organization which is dealing with compensating for property, demining activities, which is one of the priorities of our organization. We do consulting, we explain financial issues, fiscal topics, and so on. So, of course, we are trying to support the initiative as for changes to the law on collaboration, and this issue is relevant for the agrarians located on the occupied territories. And also we are going to deal with many other questions. I'd like to say thank you to our farmers who are not in despair. They are prepared to solve these difficult questions, and I'm very grateful to our partners like the All Ukrainian Agrarian Council, which is a leader in representing the interests and resolving the issues of agrarians. I'm also grateful to the international partners who are financing and investing funds into the effective projects like we are presenting today. And I'm pretty sure this interactive map will be updated on a daily basis. Unfortunately, it will have more damages, but at least it gives hope to farmers to be compensated. That's really good. We are grateful to the representatives of our government on different levels, who are very active and try to solve the problems of the agrarians. And also, I would like to wish peace to our amazing Ukraine. And I would like to encourage all our partners to join our initiatives and to work together. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Larissa. I also would like to give a floor to our friend, to our partner, Sergei Rybalka, who has been a long time with us. He's the member of Association of Not Controlled Territorial Communities. The video you've just seen was filmed under his supervision. Good afternoon. I'm very sorry. I have bad connection, unfortunately, and we don't have electricity at the moment, so my video will be switched off. Sergey, if you can't hear me, just shout. Unfortunately, the genocide of Ukrainian people is ongoing, and it's on the stage when people are deported from our territories. And I'm very grateful to the Kherson Regional Military Administration for raising this issue, but it has to be transferred on a high level so that the whole world knows about this. Our enemy does everything in order to make the conditions for people unbearable. They are closing shops, hospitals, and they demand people to move out of the area. We have information that people who left to Crimea don't have an opportunity to go back to Kherson region. It means the enemy is trying to send people further away to Ural, to the Far East. And if we lose this people resource, it will be a big loss, and it will be much more complicated to recover Ukraine. That's why in the near future, we have to make our community and world aware what is going on, because people are not moving by their own will. They're being deported because the conditions are unbearable for them. Speaking about the interactive map, I have a couple of questions. First of all, yes, we need to make segments of this map. First of all, we have to identify who can put this data on the map and how the process will look like. If we talk direct about the damages on the territories of farms and enterprises, yes, the owners can do this. But if we speak about perennial plantations, about forests, it is clear that we have to involve the state resources here. If we speak about melioration system and irrigation systems, then we have to engage the territorial communities and they have to be informed. They have to obtain some certain instructions and regulations how to do it. Speaking about melioration systems, it is also clear we have to engage the fishery agency and melioration agency. They also have to be involved. And the last one, we also have to include the scientific institutions, the scientific agencies and communities. Unfortunately, we have lost connection. Thank you, Sergey. I'm very sorry. Let me finish, please. I'm here with you. I'm sorry. I'm back. And the most important moment regarding the interactive map, this is the assessment of damages and losses that we already have. Who will assess it? Who will conduct this assessment? It is clear, so that we have a comprehensive material to be used in the court. We have to obtain good materials. You know that our agrarians insured their property. So a lot of property has insurance. But as of today, the insurance companies are not participating in the process and they refuse to assess the damaged property. So maybe we have to engage here the associations of the insurers. Due to the fact we have that they are not compensating this, we have to claim that. But the agrarians have paid for this insurance and maybe they have to send the assessors and they continue doing these activities because it is highly requested. It should be a highly qualified assessment of the damages that we already have. So now I touched a lot of questions regarding the assessment. That is why, in my opinion, such association of assessments, of people who will assess it should be engaged. We know that some territorial communities in Kyiv region have suffered, and unfortunately, we still pending the report on the assessment of damages. I think it's one of the important questions here while entering information into the web portal and interactive map. So it's not only about the pictures and the videos, but the insurance companies, they actually can cover some of the problems. So I'm speaking here about perennial plantations, forests, melioration systems, irrigation systems, and it's important that the organization that owns or is related to these objects gives their assessment as to the damages. Thank you, Sergey. You just raised very relevant and actual questions. The issues related to document and inserting information on the map are very important because currently the owners and the farmers can put this information on the map. Assessment is the next stage. And of course, it will come after the damages are documented. I'm pretty sure it is related to the legal activity, legislation work, and I'm pretty sure we are going to discuss this in future and try to find common solutions and make our proposals as to the future work. It goes without saying, and thank you for raising these issues once again. I hope you continue doing this, and in general, we are grateful to all our partners and agrarians who continue work. Now we go to the next section of our presentation, and this is the questions and answers. We have received some of them in our chat. The first one was to the regional military administration, to Mr. Yaroslav. The question is, what kind of aid, what practical aid is given by the military administration in terms of documenting and reporting the damages. And I think your answer will be an example for other military administrations in their future activities. This question is really very relevant. Our agricultural enterprises some of them are in occupation, are coming across with damage of their equipment, of their facilities. Here we have a very clear plan of actions. These damages have to be recorded by law enforcement officers, like police officers, and after that, the regional military administration includes these damages into the respective register. This data is being registered, and after that, we start our work with donor and international organizations by providing technical assistance as to giving aid to our agrarians. As of now, we have a lot of documented information related to damages, and that includes about 39% of livestock complexes, 26% of agricultural enterprises, 27% of logistic hubs, and 32% of our logistic capacities and infrastructure capacities. Thank you. The next question here is to Dnipro. Can we document the losses of the scientific center and to be compensated in future to the research center? The procedure as to all enterprises and legal entities is just the same, but in general, those enterprises who have suffered losses is obliged to report, document, assess, and also you have to include the loss of income. This also has to be included. And again, replying to the comment of Sergei Rybalka, who made his statement as for our assessment. Currently, the Cabinet of Ministers is considering the plan of actions for assessment of enterprises damage located on the territory of Ukraine. And it includes the assessment of direct damages like destruction, complete damage, and indirect damage like the loss of profit, the money that could be earned by the owners, by the farmers, agrarians. So when we have a clear methodology, then we will have a lot of work in part of assessment of damages. And together with partners, we have been developing the proposals, and we have submitted this proposal to our government for consideration. So finally, I would like to say that any enterprise acting in Ukraine that has suffered, regardless if it's an agricultural enterprise or a research center, if you have suffered direct or indirect losses, like loss of profit, you have to document it, you have to assess it, and to apply for compensation of these losses by Russian Federation. Here I also would like to add that documenting losses and damages can be both in non-governmental and temporary occupied areas. I'm speaking about the whole territory of Ukraine. You can put all data on the interactive map. And here I would like to reiterate again, we have the international law working on the whole territory of Ukraine, and all these damages and losses are considered as crimes that take place against Ukraine, and they have to be punished. And they The next question is rather technical. Do we have Roman with us?
Питання звучить таке, ділиться посиланням на пошкодження в мапі на наші підприємства, а не на всі. Отже, чи можна потім з інформації, яка там є, виділити саме
can we outline the certain enterprise or an object that was damaged from all the list of all facilities and objects which are reflected on the map? It's a very interesting question. Now we can search for an enterprise by including the name and the identification code. But the final idea is to make a link for each object. It is not implemented yet, but we are working on it. And we think to make a certain link for each object. Unfortunately, currently, you can find the object you are interested in by putting the ID number, the name of the object, or using filters like the territorial community line or something like that. Thank you. We continue working on updating and sophisticating our map. I also would like to mention that before presenting this interactive map, we were delaying it a little bit because it was tested by our partners, by our international partners, by the agrarians, and a lot of things have been changed during this process. So I think it will take another 1 or 2 months before it will be publicly launched and will be actively used. Before that, please submit your proposals. They all will be considered, and we will try to make this interactive map functional to be used effectively by all interested parties. The next question, and actually I've united several questions in one because they are similar. We can't use the cadastre maps because it can't be used publicly. It doesn't have a public access. Are you going to open it and open the access to the maps of territorial communities? Yes, you are right. Currently, it has restricted access, and this information is not public. You can't also find the geo portals in public access, and it is closed for clear reasons. It was closed to prevent the disclosing of the infrastructure and the facilities located in territorial communities. But yes, we are planning to think over something to protect the data and information. But in case you need some data from the cadastre map, they are not fully restricted. But in future, the public cadastre maps and other public resources and different portals, they will be opened with restricted access, with half-restricted access, and they will be used by the civilians and the territorial communities as well. And the interactive map, which is being published at the moment, it is linked to the cadastral map. And when you include the cadastral number, that means you are using it because the information is being searched through this cadastral map. This interactive map is linked to it, I assure you. That is why the interactive map is linked, but as for access, we're still working. Thank you for the meeting we had today. I think it was very effective and fruitful. That's why let's move on to closing remarks. In the end, I would like to announce once again that documenting and reporting is one of the important stages for future compensation and support. and also for recovery of the territorial communities, recovery of agricultural sector. And I'm pretty sure that agrarian sector will stand in this fight, and it will be recovered more effectively and will provide the food security for the state and the world. We continue working with all our partners. We work actively with Kherson Regional Military Administration on a daily basis, almost. We are in close contact with them in the morning and in the evening, and I encourage all of you for such close cooperation with state bodies, with territorial communities, and I invite Yaroslav for the closing remarks. Please, Yaroslav. Thank you, Mr. Sergey. I would like to thank the All Ukrainian Agrarian Council and USAID program for this initiative. As you colleagues have seen, it's a very clear and very simple tool. And this tool can become very important for showing the damage and losses that you have paid. It's a real instrument that can be very useful for you. That's why I encourage all of you to use this interactive tool in your daily work and to add information into it, because if we fulfill all these tasks, we will have a real opportunity to provide the necessary compensation for you. That's why thank you for this meeting and thank you for developing this interactive map. Thank you for participating today. If you have any questions, please address them to us. Glory to Ukraine.